everyone. All right, tonight I'm going to be showing you how to make some chicken fajitas. So you will need 3 bell peppers, and then we're going to cut and seed them, and I'm going to slice them in my mandolin. I like to use a yellow, a red, and a green. You're also going to want, if you want fresh guacamole, you'll need a couple of avocados. You'll need a white onion and some lemon and limes. You'll need a can of tomato sauce. Try to get one with no extra salt. And then you need 4 or 5 chicken breasts. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut open my bell peppers. I'm gonna cut them in half before I run them through my mandolin. And I like to take out this veiny part because it doesn't taste all that great. I like to peel that out and clean out the seeds. So I'm going to cut all of them in half, this, and pull out the seeds. You don't want those in there. And I do my bell peppers first so that my sliced up onions aren't sitting here making me cry. Make sure you take off the stickers. Alright, so I've started doing the peppers in the mandolin. If you didn't have a mandolin, you could very easily just slice them really thin. What you want them to look like is thin strips, okay? I'm going to finish up with the yellow bell pepper, and then I'll do the onion. And the pieces that come out kind of thick like this, I usually just cut them. So the mandolin just saves you a little bit of time, and if you're like me and you're not really good with your knife, it'll make sure that your pieces are really thin so that they cook up really quickly in your pan. So I love all the color. I've got my green, my red, and my yellow ready to go when I put everything in the skillet. So I'm going to do my onion the same way. Again, I'm going to run the onion through the mandolin because it's faster and pieces will be really thin so that they will cook down really easily. And then I'm going to take my chicken breasts and cut them into strips. So once I have all that done, I will come back and show you how we put it all together in the pan. Hi guys, okay, I'm back. I've got my chicken cut, my onions cut, and my bell peppers cut. So I'm going to heat up my frying pan, or my skillet. I'm going to use high heat so it'll get going quickly, and I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to saute up our onions and peppers. So give the pan a twirl so the bottom is fully coated. And you're going to put in the onions first, and then to that you're going to add a little bit of ground pepper, and I also like to use granulated garlic, especially when you forget to stop and get the fresh garlic, but you could easily use garlic cloves if you want. So heated that up a bit. So put the onions in the pan first, and I had 1 white onion, and I'm going to separate all the pieces. I want this big chunk, so I'm going to pull that guy out. And to that I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, so not quite a handful, just enough to coat the onion. They're already starting to sizzle. And then we're going to add about a palmful of our garlic powder. It's going to give it some really, really good flavor. And then I like to use a wooden spoon. Mix all these guys up together. Let the onion cook down. I'll show you. Onion's going to start getting translucent. Once the onion is all cooked down, I will add in the bell pepper. And then once they cook down, I'll add in the chicken. And that way there's kind of some seasoning in the bottom of this pan. these guys hang out and do their thing. When you make fajitas, you could easily use some lean meat. You don't always have to use chicken. It's just easier. It's always on sale, so we use boneless, skinless chicken breast around here. But you can easily make it with like a lean sirloin, London broil, and then slice it real thin also. I have some Spanish rice cooking, so I'm gonna turn that down and cover it. Kids like to have theirs with rice. I'll use a low carb tortilla, which is great. Smells awesome. And now let's add in all of our peppers together. I like all the color that we're getting in here. And these guys will cook for probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'll come back and show you what they look like before I add in the chicken. Alright, so the peppers are starting to get really cooked up. The onions are starting to get soft. I like to move them off to this outer portion of the skillet. And then I'm going to put my chicken strips, they're kind of thin, right in the middle to cook. And I'm going to cook, then I'll mix them in a little bit. I'm going to mix them all in. And I'm just going to brown up this chicken. I still have my skillet on high. I'm going to brown up the chicken and then I'm going to simmer it. I'm going to turn it down and simmer it. So I'll brown it for about 3 minutes. And then I'll simmer it and pour on my tomato sauce, and we'll simmer it covered for about 20 minutes. Alright, so most of the chicken is browned and cooked up. It's not cooked because it's still raw in the middle. We're getting some really good liquid and juices from the onion and the bell peppers and the chicken coming off at the bottom, so that's great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 2 cans of my tomato sauce. They're the smaller cans. And then we're going to cover this and simmer. If you notice, didn't add any salt because chicken already has a lot of salt in it when it goes through its packaging process. So I don't add salt until the very end. If someone wants to salt their particular serving, they can. So I'm really careful about using garlic powder versus garlic salt, especially when cooking with chicken. So I'm just going to leave it covered like this. I'm going to turn my heat down to a simmer, and it'll stay like that for about 20 minutes. And while that's doing that, I'm going to make some guacamole, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all done. Alright, so I'm going to make some homemade guacamole. I always get asked how guacamole tastes so good. Is it hard to make? It really is not hard to make at all. You can make it as simple or as elaborate as you really want. My kids don't like a whole lot of extras in their guacamole, so we just use straight avocados, lemon, lime, and a little bit of garlic, and some salt and pepper to taste. So I'm going to first start by cutting all of my avocados in half. You know you've got a good avocado when it is starting to turn brown. It's not bright green on the outside. Also, it's a little soft to the touch, and perfect. So these guys have a couple of dark spots, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Fajitas are great. Avocado is great addition to the fajitas, but you could even just do sliced fresh avocado on there. My kids like it mushed up in guacamole. I've used a blender or food processor. Today I'm going to just be doing it by hand. So I'll show you how easy that is. This one had a couple more brown spots, so I'm going to scoop around that guy so that it's not in there. You'll save a couple of pits. This one was perfect. Look at that beauty. So that you can put them inside your guacamole so it stays fresh in the event that you have extra. We very seldom have leftover guacamole over here. Pit out. And then once all the avocados are in, you're going to just take either a fork, potato masher, and again, if you wanted a smoother texture, this would be great. It's great done in a blender or a food processor. And I have a video that shows you how to do that also. But but sometimes I just like it chunkier. And so to get that chunky versus smooth, creamy taste, I'd like to do it by hand. I like to mix it up. You can add jalapeno, you can add red cayenne pepper for a little kick if you want heat. Again, the kids are gonna eat this, so my kids don't like heat. They are only half Mexican, so no heat's going in these ones today. All right, so those are all in. I'm gonna take a fork and just mash the fork against the side like this. Okay. After it's all smashed in, then I'll add my lemon and lime to taste. So you can make it as sour or mild as you want it. Again, when this is all finished, I'll show you what the fajitas look like. Hope you enjoy this dinner option. Okay, fajitas are done. I have a low-carb tortilla that I heated up and my kind of chunky guacamole. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon and spread it on there. And there's dinner for tonight. Hope you guys enjoy this recipe.